I'm going to do two techniques that are things that you probably don't want to do a lot. The first thing is to bruise your paper. Basically, when you're painting, you want to use a watery color. You start light and kind of work dark. You make a basic sort of wash. Okay, so a wash, you kind of just rotate the brush back and forth. If you want to sop up some extra color, because that will dry darker, you can use a brush to kind of sop it up and then dry your brush off onto something else. When the paper is wet, you don't want to be mean to it. If I take a brush like one of these flat brushes with the red, and then I scrub at the paper, like let's say I've made a mistake, what will eventually start to happen is you're just going to start to pill the paper. And so what will happen is as the paper gets bruised and you're kind of mean to it, the pigment will attach itself to these little fibers of the paper. Or if I went in there and I drew with like a pencil, it's going to forever scratch the paper and damage it. And I can never go back and erase it. So you want to be really careful that you don't scratch it or hurt it or scrape across it, because what will eventually happen is the paint's going to collect in those areas where it's bruised, and those things will remain forever. So you don't want to do that. You can see here how the color's kind of trapping into the part where I bruised it. So try not to be mean to your paper. Paper is paper. It will curl, and if you add too much water, it's going to fall apart. Another thing that you want to be careful about with watercolor is what we call a water blossom. So typically what a water blossom is that you'll put some paint down, and then you'll go back in a few minutes and try to add something to it. And once the paper starts to dry, what you often get is a repelling of it. So if I'm just going to drop some water here, what you'll start to see is on the edges of the drop, the color is getting darker. It's like pushing the color out. And when that dries, you're going to see that there is a ring around the color, and it's going to look like a big water puddle just landed in your artwork. Now, that could look really pretty if you made it look intentional. But if you wanted something to be nice and smooth, then that's going to forever be like that. So if that thing happens where you accidentally just drop water, your best solution is to go back over with just clean water or pigment again and go back over the entire section again. So if I just go back and forth, it will smooth it out. So as long as it's still wet, you can fix it.